Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is talking all things Real Housewives of Miami, we are now on season 7, episode 2. We are going to get into it, and I have a few really good hot takes about Miami that I haven't really heard anybody else talk about. Might be a little controversial, but as always, if you're joining me live, put your thoughts down in the chat box. If you're watching on the replay, be sure to comment down below. We will also talk about the Valley. The Valley. I think they need to make a lot of changes for season 3. I personally don't want to see this same cast come back the way it is, or else I'll probably stop watching. But I want to know what you guys think about that. And yeah, and don't forget that, if you want to connect with me, be sure to connect with me on Instagram at Candy Washington. Be sure to subscribe over here, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. And be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share. It is a fun and free and easy way to support me and the show. And I would really, really appreciate that. So as you come in, say hi in the chat box. Let's have a fun discussion. So with that, let's dive right on in. So, first up, Real Housewives of Miami. Let's get into it. Okay. Oh, yeah, then that's my Amazon shop, which is linked down below. Be sure to check out all my goodies and fun stuff there. Okay. The first thing I'm going to say about the Real Housewives of Miami is this. Who does Alexia and Todd think they are fooling? You're not fooling anybody, okay? This is the gag, Alexia and Todd. In my humble opinion, allegedly, I think they're lying. I don't think they ever broke up. I don't believe that he got all his stuff like a thief in the night and took everything out of their rented apartment in front of Frankie, without her knowledge. This to me seems like a scheme that Todd made up. And rock with me on this conspiracy, okay? We're gonna put our candy cane conspiracy caps. Rock with me. I think that Alexia and Todd are very much together. She was on Watch What Happens Live saying they're still sleeping together, they still see each other, maybe they'll reconcile. I think all of that is a bunch of BS. I think he had or has, and again, this is my opinion, allegedly, hypothetically speaking. I don't want Todd or Alexia coming for me legally. This is just my opinion, hypothetically speaking, in the world. I think that Alexia and Todd never broke up. I think the only reason why they got divorced was to protect money and assets. And I think that he owes either investors or maybe some loan sharks. I don't know. Again, my opinion on this. I think that he has something not right financially, something shady going on with his businesses, with his real estate, with where his money came from or comes from. And I think that they had to do some sort of shifty, sketchy narrative. One, to protect her. She's like, oh, I don't know anything. He came in and did all this stuff, and I don't know. And then he filed, and again, then he files for divorce, but doesn't do anything about the divorce for 5 or 6 months. Then all of a sudden they get legally divorced, like she said on Watch What Happens Live. It was a legal divorce, but they're still together. Who gets divorced to stay together, but never actually broke up? Do you guys see what I'm saying? Also, Alexia is not that good of an actress. That whole dinner scene where she is crying and she was like, and I stayed in your rented apartment and your rented car and you don't own anything. I thought all of that was an act. I thought it was all fake and phony and it sounded very scripted. I think the reason why she is saying this is to get somebody off of Todd's butt for money owed or money squandered or something like that. My gut is that this is a scheme they came up with in order to protect his money or his assets or to get out of some type of debt or shady financial situation that they're in. Also, packing up everything in your apartment and leaving in the like a thief in the night, that gives, are you foreclosing? Are you not? Are you back on your rent? Are you about to be evicted? Like some that also gives very scammer grifter vibes. None of it makes any sense. I think that she's lying to Marisol. I think Marisol is in the dark, and that's why Marisol is like, I'm so confused. Like, you know he's a bad guy. You're saying he's doing all this too, but yet you guys are still together. I don't get it because she's lying to you, in my opinion, Marisol. None of their breakup makes any sense unless they're kind of like Bonnie and Clyde, Dorit and PK vibes. It's giving very grifter, grifter, grifter. I see a lot of people blaming him. They're like, oh, he's the Louis of, Miami. Alexia is so stupid. She's being used. I don't buy any of that. I think that these two are in on it 100% together. It was all an act. Also, at first when she said, oh, I'm having this dinner party for my friend Johnny, and I'm not going to invite Gertie and I'm not going to invite Adriana because I don't want them to make it about themselves, blah 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 blah. I was like, oh, that is so shady, Alexia. Like, why are you being rude to Gertie because she's beefing with Julia? And we're going to get to you, Julia, with your dark spirit and your dark heart. We're going to get to you, Julia. But then I realized, oh, the reason why Alexia didn't invite Gertie and Adriana is because they are the two that would call her on her BS. Those are the two women that would be like, you're acting, none of this makes any sense. I don't know what's going on. Like, those are the two women who would really not be having it. Do you know what I'm saying? Those are the two people who would come out and be like, this is fake. You're lying. None of this makes any sense. They would hold her feet to the fire. And that's why Alexia did not invite Gertie and Adriana. And I was like, oh, this is a team scheme Todd made up. I think that Alexia's Todd, I think that he is still paying all of her bills. I think their finances are very much tied up together. And I think she played her part. He played his part to get out of some type of financial debt or bind or investors. I don't know. There's a fly in the milk and it doesn't make any sense. So I want to know what you guys think about that. I'm like, I don't know why Alexia and Todd are playing in our faces. They're clearly together. Their divorce was a sham. And clearly they're doing all of this narrative somehow to get out of some financial jam. That's what it feels like to me. And that's why she had that fake, I was in your rented and this and your rented that. When does Alex, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have to do that whole performance? You literally had a whole dinner just so you could say a couple of scripted lines. Girl, bye. I think there's something legal going on with that. Okay, now let's talk about Larsa and Lisa. Okay. Larsa and Lisa. Larsa is the type of friend that is only your friend for two reasons. One, she's your friend because she's using you for something, like the Kardashians. She's using you for clout and for a come up and, to sort of ride your coattails. And she's using you for access and for fame and for money and all, not for money because she has Pippin money, but you know what I mean? For that type of level of fame and that level of access and influence. So clearly she was using the Kardashians for that. I don't like the Kardashians, but that's for a different video. Or she's your friend like Lisa, where being around you makes her feel better about herself. So when Lisa was Boo Boo the Fool for her ex-husband, who was or estranged husband, I don't know if they're legally divorced yet, but we'll just call her ex. When Lisa was being clowned by him, when she was being cheated on by him, when she was being, verbally, I don't want to say abused unless she uses that term, but not being treated right. You know what I mean? He wasn't being nice to her. He wasn't being good to her, When she was kind of bottom of the barrel, Larsa had no problem being besties with her because being around Lisa made her feel better about herself. She had the marriage until she had the divorce, but then she was dipping it and doing it. Do you know what I mean? So she had no problem being friends with Lisa when she felt that Lisa was beneath her. But when Lisa finally found her voice, got her man Jody has money, from tech. Hopefully, it's clean money. You never know these days with these people, but just hopefully it's clean money. He loves her. He's there for her. He is super supportive. It seems like a really good relationship. So then all of a sudden, Larsa has a problem. And this whole, you still follow Marcus, miss me with all that BS. Didn't Kim Kardashian literally kick you out of a hotel room because you were still talking to her ex and father of her children, Kanye West? Now, I'm not defending the Kardashians because I never would, but you can't talk about loyalty and talk about all this, that, and the third when you have no loyalty yourself. You also was allegedly flirting with Travis Scott, who was with Kylie Jenner. Again, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, girl, bye. And then also to try and go after Jody and accuse him of being on AC. If you watch the other episodes, you know what that means. AC or skiing or snowing, whatever the case may be. How can you try and go after Jody and make him look like he's a bad guy because you're mad that he still hangs out with Marcus in social situations? Why would Jody stop being friends with Marcus because your fake PR relationship is over? And I agree with Lisa. I think her breakups were fake and they were for PR. I think the whole relationship was PR. I don't even think Larsa really even lives in Miami. I think she lives in LA and New York. I think she films in Miami. I think she parties in Miami, but Miami isn't a real home base. It's a filming base and it's a party base. So, girl, come on with it. And who wouldn't want to hang out with a Jordan? Like, I personally wouldn't want to hang out with Marcus, given everything that's come out about him. But I'm talking about like in general, why would Jody burn a bridge with Marcus Jordan because he broke up with Larsa? None of that makes any sense. And Lisa said herself, I didn't go to the dinner. I can't control him. He's an adult. Like, what are you talking about? And then for Larsa to go to Lisa's house and try to clown Jody, calling him cheap and Marcus is using him and all this stuff, and then talking about, Lisa and how she had allegedly, you know, sexual encounters with other women and her husband in the hot tub. I thought that was totally disgusting and totally against girl code. You don't do that. You don't throw your friend's personal business in their face on Mad Day. You don't do that. Even there are people who I would never even speak to again in life. But if they told me something in confidence that is sacred, I would never throw that back to them in their face. And when people do that to me, then they're dead to me. If I tell you something in confidence and then you throw it in my face on Mad Day, you're dead to me. Don't ever expect us to be cool again because we're not. It is what you don't do that to people. And then we see Larsa being so childish, like in the car ride from the airport to the hotel for the whole Milan fashion show. Her son said, I don't want to talk about this. This is a work trip for me. All Larsa does is talk about it. She literally ignores her son pretty much, even when they get to the fashion show. And it's Lisa who steps in and is like, oh, your mom's not here. Like, are you hungry? Do you need something? And she goes into mama bear mode because she's known her kids for like 15 years, ever since they were like little goobers. And then you have Larsa who is doing selfies with lights while Lisa is walking, like just being and not letting anybody talk in the car ride, just being completely irrational and narcissistic and selfish and weird and not letting anybody talk. Like all of it was just a hot mess. And Larsa just looked so pathetic and sad. She just oozed pathetic. You're not letting anybody talk. You're thinking it all about yourself. Lisa is being more compassionate and thoughtful and mature about the energy and conversation that she's bringing around your child than you are. And your own child had to check you when you were like, oh, shouldn't Lisa, why is Lisa here if her dad's dying? And he was like, well, that's their business. And side note, that was so disgusting for Larsa to tell Lisa that if her father is dying, why is she here? You don't understand the pain of being estranged from your family. You know, People can't judge that. People who are estranged from fathers or mothers or sisters or brothers, you can't judge them for creating boundaries and for making choices with people in their life. I don't think that Lisa owed being there for her father at that moment to her father. I think she made the right choice. I think she made the right choice to go to Milan, to have this, once in a lifetime, but to have this like amazing experience. I know she had just sort of, made amends with her father. I don't know the complete backstory, but I do know that particularly, children who alienate themselves or estrange themselves from parents, it's usually for a really, really good reason. And so for Larsa to throw that in her face was just so dirty. And just it just shows you who Larsa is, like she did last season, questioning Gertie's cancer diagnosis, but then wants to lie in her face and tell her that her butt is real. So you want to lie and say your butt is real and you never had any plastic surgery or injection shots, but then you want to question Gertie's cancer diagnosis. You're disgusting. Then you want to throw in the fact that Lisa's father is dying and she's torn between putting herself first and her own needs first with, going to see him when clearly there has probably been a lot of abandonment on his end to her, abuse, toxicity, dysfunction. Nobody wakes up and says, I never want to talk to my parents again unless there's some, you know what I'm saying? Unless there's a deep seated reason for that. And so for her to go after her, it's just so disgusting to me. It's so nasty. Like Larsa is, she's like a walking cesspool. She's not it. She's not it on any type of level at all. Okay. Now, where now let's see. Okay, so we talked about Larsa and Lisa. Then I got on oh. I'm not buying this whole, oh my God, look at Jody's eyes. That's sort of like the cliffhanger they left on with Lisa and Larsa and Jody. I think Jody was fed up with Larsa because Larsa was hella disrespectful to him. Number one, she called him cheap. She said that he was living in a fantasy land. She called him a psycho. She said that Marcus Jordan was using him to get to her. She was so disrespectful to his girlfriend while she was on the runway with the whole lights and selfie and talking and making all these, taking shots and shade and stuff. I think once the camera went down, Jody had had enough. And I'm team Jody on this. Guy or girl, you're not going to sit here and clown me and sun me and disrespect me repeatedly and not expect to get checked back, guy or girl. I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about verbal. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get checked. It just comes a point in time where disrespect has to be met with disrespect, point blank, period. And for her trying to create this whole narrative, where's Jody? Shouldn't he be happy for her? Isn't he here to support her? Isn't that why? Like, girl, bye. Where's your man at? And don't tell me, oh, Larsa has a new man. Please, that little NBA player who's like her child's age, her children's age. Get out of here. Knock off the nonsense. It's giving another PR relationship. Did her publicist set this up? Did they call back grid? I'm not believing this nonsense for 1 second, okay? And I'm not age shaming her. So everybody stop with age shaming. I'm not age shaming her. I'm just calling a spade, okay? So yeah, it's just so disgusting. I think Jody just had enough. And I'm not going to buy into Larsa photoshopping and cropping Jody's face and everyone at the table being like, oh my God. And then I believe Lisa came out and said, this is so disgusting. You crop out one photo from a night out, a lot of lights going on, in AC or snowing or skiing, whatever the case may be. They're from Miami, like whatever. I'm not judging that. You want to go and play in the snow? Go play in the snow, whatever. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do you, boo boo. But I think that Larsa is trying to make a mountain out of a molehill because she's embarrassed that Marcus is out here clowning her now that their PR relationship is over. That she's embarrassed that, I think she paid for a lot of her relationship with Marcus. And I think that she is jealous that Jody subsidizes Lisa's life and Lisa's ex-husband continues to subsidize Lisa's life. And I think she's really jealous. I think she wishes she had a Jody. And that's why she's doing this, that, and the third. I think she wishes she had someone to step up and provide for her and to be there for her and to have her back. I think she wishes she had Lisa's position, and that's why she's so mad. But Larsa, you're playing this all wrong, baby girl. This is what Larsa should have done. After the whole Marcus PR breakup relationship, Larsa should have went to Jody and Lisa and said, "Yo, set a girl up. I'm done with these NBA boys, playing in my face." You know what I'm saying? Set me up with a tech guy, set me up with a Silicon Valley guy, set me up with the next guy from Google or, Apple, set me up with, the next Bill Gates. That's what I would have done. I would have been like, Jody, I need a roster of all your single friends who are in your circle, who are nice and kind and supportive and rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, set a girl up. And then that could have been the new foursome. It could have been Jody, one of his, rich friends, Lisa and Larsa dipping it and doing it. But you will only have that perspective when you are not a hater, when you're not jealous, when you have a genuine friendship built on mutual respect and admiration. So, because I'm like that, that's what my mind would say. I would be like, oh my God, girl, set me up with one of Jody's friends and we could be like couples. But no, because Larsa's spirit is so dark, Jezebel, and evil and jealous, she goes straight to, I don't feel good about myself. I want to take you down so I can feel better about me because I only feel good about me when I think that you are beneath me. So that's why we now have Larsa talking about who she follows on Instagram. Who cares who she follows on Instagram? Grow up. That's why we have Larsa trying to take Jody down. Jody doesn't owe you a damn thing, Larsa, boo boo. Not nan thing in this world. And at this point, neither does Lisa. So, Larsa, you need to go work on yourself. You need to go get some therapy. You need to get rid of your jealous, envious spirit and keep it pushing and popping. I'm team Lisa on this 1000%. You don't come into my home and disrespect me. You don't go into my boyfriend's face and disrespect him and think everything's going to be kumbaya because you are jealous and you're going through something. Bye bye. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about Julia and Gertie. Okay, guys. I'm team Gertie. I think that's a given. If you're team Julia, I'm not sure why you're I'm not sure who invited you. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, all opinions are welcome. I'm just joking. But to me, Julia always has to have a problem with somebody. Last season, she wanted to be best friends with Alexia, but she had to have a problem with her because she didn't want to share a room with her. She made it about being a lesbian. It clearly wasn't about her being a lesbian, all up in arms. She totally ditched Adriana because she's all up Alexia's butt now. She was friends with Gertie, but now she's ditching Gertie. And everything Julia is saying to me just shows me how nasty Julia is. And I'm like Martina, like blink twice, Martina, because Martina, I believe, was going to leave Julia. Wasn't she gonna leave her? But then she got cancer, and so they stayed together. Anyway, that's what I thought. Martina, you can still get out. There's still time. But the whole like Gertie sent a cold text message and she didn't join the live. Number one, Zooms stink. Like, it's not 2020. Why are we still doing Zoom phone calls? Like, go get some cockies and call it a day. Like, why are you doing Zoom in 2025? Go touch some grass and get outside. Number two, Julia wanted everybody to kiss her butt. And because Gertie couldn't join the Zoom, the link or whatever, she's like, oh, I couldn't join what's going on. If she's like, I was juggling two babies and I was dictating, you sent this woman a whole paragraph about, oh, you couldn't join the Zoom and blah, 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 blah. But now the information is already out there and you'll see everything that's out there. And blah. Like, you sent this woman freaking paragraphs, dictated or typed, whatever you want to call it. You couldn't just say, oh my gosh, I wish you could have joined. I have the best news. We finally got our babies. We have two beautiful boys. I'm holding them right now. Can't wait for you to meet them. Whatever the case may be. As long as it took you to write her paragraphs saying you'll find out with the rest of the world now, you could have told her what the news was. She was very apologetic. She clearly was trying to juggle multiple things. And also, Gertie is a cancer survivor, but she's still going through it. She's doing radiation, she's doing chemo, she's doing reconstructive surgery. And you expect her to just drop everything because you have a Zoom call? girl, if you don't get all the way the hell out of my face with this nonsense, okay? And then to have a stick up your butt, oh, you'll see it when you see it. And then she texted you, congrats. Oh, you're being cold. Julia, what did you want her to do? Knit you some blankets for the babes? Like, I'm confused. What did you want her to do when you wouldn't even tell her? And then you go and you replay the story. And then you go and replay what happened, making Gertie the villain when she's clearly not the villain. And then Martina's even like, yeah, Julia is kind of whack because at the party, Gertie's like, I don't know what I did, a Zoom call, the link, like, how are the kids? Martina's trying to be in cold because she's sitting by Julia, but then Martina's like, well, I don't really know what happened, so that's between y'all because it's so clearly bizarre and weird. Like Julia is a witch to me, and I mean, I feel I get like she's like a witch. Like I see her in like her garden or her field, like chopping down herbs and doing a stew or something. Like she gives off like witchy poo vibes. Total tangent, but that's just what came to me. Anyway, and then her whole nonsensical story about how Julia and Martina were supposed to do some type of event, and then Martina was sick or something and couldn't go, and so they were like, "Gertie, can you come?" And Gertie's like, "Yeah, of course I'll come and like support you." And damn right, you would have heard more from me than the very nice text that Gertie sent me, being like, "Hey, look, like I went to go get dinner, like to get food. They didn't have my name, and they sort of, poo pooed me away for this VIP section." So I'm not sure why they separated us. We came since I'm here for you and we came together, so I ate dinner by myself, but it's okay. I'm cool. And, I'll see you around. What was wrong with that, Julia? Number one, you're whack as hell. Don't invite me to an event that I'm doing you a favor for and not make sure that I am comfortable and accounted for as your guest. Gertie is 1,000% right. Why didn't they have her name? Why were you separated if she was your guest and she was there with you? None of that makes any sense. I don't know if you guys gone to industry events, but you've gone to two events. You and your plus one are together. You eat together, you drink together, you do like little activations together. It just makes no sense that Julia would have Gertie come to treat her that way. And then when Gertie is just like, well, I ate dinner by myself and I'll see you around, it's cool. To me, that was very gracious. I would feel some type of way. You invite me to this event, we're going to eat, we're going to dinner, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy because my name isn't there and you're off doing you. And then I'm off in the corner eating dinner by myself. Who wouldn't have a problem with that when she's doing you a solid? And like I said, she's also going through, post cancer treatments. We saw what she was going through. You can see on her, you can see the sickness, not sickness as in cancer, but you know what I mean. You can see like the bloating and like, you know what I mean, when you see someone, they've been unwell or whatever the case may be. That's what I'm saying. You can see it on Gertie and you know her, and this is how you treat her. With me, if I have an event, if I'm going to an event and I have someone that's coming, I make sure that they are more comfortable than I am as my guest. Do you know what I mean? Like my plus one should be more comfortable than me because they're my guest. It's my job as the person who brought them to make sure that they're very comfortable. It's the hostess job to make sure that we're both very comfortable. But if you're my guest, it's my job to make sure that you're taken care of. So Julia missed me with all this nonsense. She did it last season with Alexia and the whole hotel room situation, having a problem simply to have a problem. I'm not with the shenanigans. I'm not with that sitch. I don't know what is going on there, but having a problem just to have one, okay. Like, girl, bye. Like, all the way, girl, bye with that one. Julia's giving dark energy, witchy poo, wants to have a problem to have a problem. I'm team Martina. I'm team Gertie. Julia's a mess, a hot mess. Adriana and Marisol. Marisol, I love. I think she's like fun. I don't know why she's not full time. She gives it. They should just go ahead and give her a full time, whatever they hold, cocktails or margaritas or I don't know, whatever they hold. She should hold one. I love Marisol. Adriana to me is like Peter Pan. She'll never grow up. I'm not buying this whole French aristocrat royalty guy. To me, I feel like she met him on Bumble or he is a central casting guy that she's paying. It's giving paid boyfriend. The PDA is really weird and gross, over the top. It's giving he just met her 2 nights ago and it's like he's just happy to have a gig, but yet is a little creeped out. Like it's always weird. And obviously, I'm not sexist or anything. I'm a little bit traditionalist though, but it's always off putting when the girl is more into the guy. Like to me, that's just always so off putting and weird. Like I think that the guy should always be more into the girl. That's just how I feel. And I am a feminist. By feminist, I mean I think women should be allowed to do whatever they want to do and how they want to do it without the threat of harm. So however you choose to live your life, however you choose to express your individual humanness, I think you should be allowed to do it, the pursuit of life, liberty and happiness. And so for me, I just think the guy needs to like me more than I like him, and ain't no way in hell I'm doing more PDA in public on camera than he is. That's just gross to me. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross. It's nasty. All right. Anyway, so what else? Oh, I have a hot take on Gertie and Russell. Dun, dun, dun. So we had the whole scene where she's going to talk about getting, reconstructive surgery on her breast after, everything she's gone through with the cancer and chemo and the radiation and all that stuff and the disfigurement. And she's already had about 6 surgeries. And clearly, she talks about her hair and her body and her weight and her breasts. And she's like, I don't know when I'm going to feel good again, but I'm doing everything I can to get there. And Russell is just like, well, when is enough enough? He's like, you've had 6 surgeries already. Now is this just going to be this endless cycle of tweak and a nip and a tuck and a this and a that? Like, when are we just going to kind of say, it's okay? Because of course he's probably one, scared. It's always scary when someone you love gets surgery, elective or cosmetic. Because at this point, her surgeries are, yes, they are reconstructive, but they are cosmetic at this particular point. And she says it herself. She's like, I just want to do to get it to 100, which is fine. You can't tell someone what to do with their body in order to feel whole again after such a big thing happens. But I understood what Russell was saying. He's like, when is it going to be enough? How many more chances are we going to take with this? Because, 20 rounds of radiation, chemotherapy, at least 6 reconstructive surgery, that is a lot. And every time you go under the knife, you're taking a chance with your life. So I get that he probably doesn't want to be scared anymore. And also, a lot of people forget how hard it is on the caregiver. I think that if Gertie is going to get, and again, this is just my opinion, and no judgment to her and to Russell, because I don't think it's anybody's place to tell someone how they rebuild from illness, from cancer, from that these types of cards. It's nobody's place to tell them what to do. However, I would say that Russell should probably, if he's not, I think he should probably be getting some therapy, group therapy, one-on-one therapy on how to deal with his own mental and emotional well-being as the caregiver, not just to Gertie, but to the boys as well. I think a lot of times it's the cancer patient or the sick person that gets all of the attention when the caregiver is the one who also really suffers. It is a huge toll and undertaking to be someone's caregiver. And like Gertie was saying, she's like, I feel bad for him. He's traumatized because he'll be the one fetching me everything when I'm sick and da da da. And like, she kind of said it like aloof, but it's a serious thing. You have to think about the well-being of the caregiver, of the person that is there, that's not just taking care of the sick person, but they're also energetically and spiritually and emotionally bearing witness to the suffering as well. So not only do they take on their own emotional suffering watching the person they love hurt, but they also take on their hurt too, because all you want to do is to make that person feel better, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Who knows on that? I just hope that he's also, and I would say, if you're in that position and you can, like, I guess if they have enough money, they should get her some type of, at home care person, to come in and to help and take care of her and kind of alleviate that load off of Russell. He did it through her cancer, through her reconstructive surgeries, to all of this, and you can see on his face he's tired. He's tired. He's like, "What are we doing? Like, what is this for?" And again, that's also hard because he could be at peace with, "Okay, this is what my wife's new normal body is. I'm at peace with it. My biggest concern is her well-being." But she could be like, "Well, I'm not at peace with what my new normal body is. I'm not yet at peace with it. So I want that extra surgery. I want that extra tweak. I want that because I'm not at peace with it yet." So you also have friction there. And I bet we see more of that coming up where there is friction in that. And then this is the hot take. I think a lot of people would think Russell would be the one to lose sexual attraction to Gertie because she's gone through the surgeries, she's gained weight as a, side effect of everything happening to her, the boobs and, the hair and the whatever the case may be. I think it's the opposite. I think Gertie has lost sexual attraction to him. And the reason why I say this is she has more of an attitude and she has more of an edge when it comes to him. And I think that the reason why she's lost sexual attraction to him is twofold. One, because he has been in that caregiver role, which is different from male provider role. I think he's always been that male provider. He's a fireman, he's strong, he's been there for the boys and he's been there for her. He's like that silent type. But that's very different from a caregiver type. Caregiver is much more divine feminine energy. The masculine male provider is more divine masculine energy. And I think the fact that he has been put into the more feminine energy, and again, I'm not talking about like sexuality or even gender, I'm talking about the essence of an energetic type. I think that that has made her have less attraction to him. And also, I think the insecurity in her mind of, do you find me attractive? Do you find me sexy? And I think it was episode 1 where they were kind of having that conversation in the car where she was like, I don't want you to feel like you have to be the caregiver and like I want this, whatever it is. So I think that, and then also with her being sick, sex is going to kind of change until it gets better or it gets the new normal, whatever that looks like. But I don't know. I just personally sensed it was more of I think he probably has caregiver fatigue, which is completely understandable, and I think she needs to get some outside help to alleviate that. They also have children. So he's taking care of the boys and her. That's a lot. That is a lot. And so I think they need to get some outside help to help him. And then also I think that um she has kind of lost that oomph towards him. That's my hot take. That's what I think is going on with them. Okay, so let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, I think that's everything I had on Miami girls. So to quickly wrap up, I'm team Lisa versus team Larsa. I think Lisa is shining, dipping, and do it. I think Larsa is Jezebel jealous spirit and she needs to calm down and pipe down. Alexia and Todd, I think, are lying through their teeth. I think their whole breakup and makeup I think that's all fake. I think they never broke up. I think that they just created some sort of scheme because there's something financial going on in the background, whether it's legally financial or whether it's shady business financial. I don't know, but I think something's going on and they're doing all of this smoke and mirror nonsense to try and get out of that. Marisol, I love. She's fun. Julia is a dark witch. I don't know what's going on with her, but she's very dark, very weird, very bizarre. Gertie, I just want her to be back and to feel good in her skin and whatever that means. But also, I want Gertie to take care of her husband too. I know she's going through something, but so is he. And I think maybe figuring out a way, how can we take care of the person who takes care of us? That's kind of what I'm getting from that. Adriana, stop paying men to make out with them on TV. It's not a good look. I love Kiki. No note. She's a sweetheart. And I'm looking forward to meeting Stephanie, the new girl. She seems to be a firecracker. We'll see. She seems to be like, I married my husband for money and I don't care what about it. So we'll see. We'll very, very see what happens with them. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. Now let's move on to the Valley. Okay, let's talk about the Valley. All right. This will be quick, I think. But, if you're joining live, put all your questions and thoughts down in the chat box and we'll definitely get to them. And if you're watching on the replay, be sure to comment down below, share, and subscribe. Okay. Now, Janet and Jason versus Nia and Danny. My word for them is projection. Okay? Janet and Jason keep trying to say, oh, what is Nia and Danny hiding? Nia is covering for Danny. They act like they're so perfect, but they have problems too. Actually, they don't act like they're perfect. They talk a lot about their problems. Nia has talked about her postpartum depression. Danny has talked about, being exhausted, 3 under 3. Now it's four under 4. He's talked about, taking accountability for when he does drink and maybe it goes some other type of way. They've shown us their lives. They've talked about their problems. They've talked about their religion. They've talked about a lot of stuff. The couple that is pretending is Janet and Jason. Anytime Janet talks about Jason, oh, he's perfect. Like my mother is always like, Janet, don't be mad at Jason. He's perfect. What? Thou dost protest too much. If he is so perfect, then why did you lose your freaking mind over the he takes off his wedding ring when he goes out rumor? If he's so perfect and your marriage is so perfect and you guys are just so perfect. To me, the couple that's pretending is Janet and Jason. What do we actually know about them? They're so busy pointing the finger at everybody else. What do we really know about their relationship? What do we know what goes on with them behind closed doors? We don't know. What have they ever fought on camera? Has they ever checked each other on camera? I have yet to see it. I've only seen Jason be a yes boy and regurgitate the lines that Janet tells him to say. I've seen Nia check Danny on camera. She's like, Danny, stop. I'm not getting involved with this. Danny, listen to your wife. I've seen them have their situation. The difference is when Nia and Danny have a situation, they do it in a healthy way. Versus when you have like a Jackson Brittany situation, it's all toxicity, trauma, and dysfunction. So the fact that Nia and Danny can check each other in healthy ways, have conversations, and work through it is an example of a healthy couple. Not a couple that's faking anything, not a couple that's lying. That's a healthy couple. The couple to me that is a fake and phony and liars is Janet, Snake Janet, and Diva Jason. Because Jason is a diva all day long. Okay, Diva? Get out of here. The fact that Jason was so mad at Danny for calling Janet a snake, yet didn't you call Jasmine, and I quote, the biggest snake of them all, literally the episode before this one? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Should Melissa be coming for your neck that you called her woman a snake, but you want to come for Danny's neck for calling your wife a snake? What's the difference? What's good, Jason? You came out of your mouth and called another woman a snake. Now you're mad that Danny came out of his mouth and called your wife one? Did you apologize to Melissa for calling Jasmine the biggest snake of them all? Isn't that what you called her when you lost your little diva mind at the beach? When you and Janet tried to tag team Jasmine and for once in her life she wasn't having it? And told Janet off, you called her the biggest snake of them all. So before you come out your diva mouth and try to say anything to Danny, how about you apologize to Melissa for calling her woman a snake? And the gag is, I actually gave Jason the benefit of the doubt. I used to think, oh, it's Janet. She's horrible and he's her puppet. Yes, she's horrible. Yes, he is her puppet, but he's also trash. He's also horrible. This whole episode, he just left a very bad taste in my mouth. The way he was going after Danny, and it was so very clear at the boys' dinner that Jax, Brittany, Janet, and Jason all got together to try to take down Danny and Nia. Jax literally said, I'm out of rehab and I want to go out. Psycho, I know. And he goes out, and the first thing he is attacking Danny over his drinking. When you're like, drugs isn't my problem. I can drink if I want to. My problem is anger. What? The problem isn't the snow or the skiing. That's not, or, again, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion hypothetically, Jason, don't come sue me because you need, eBay money. Don't come at me, Jason, or Brit, because Brit needs some, I don't know, whatever. I still think that Jax something physical happened between Jax and Brittany, and I'm not buying he flipped a table and it just so happened to hit Brittany's knee, and that's why he is no longer able to see his son. And production basically forced him to go to rehab. I'm not buying that story. Just in my gut, in my heart. Also, if you see the way Tom Schwartz is around Jax, it's so he is so it's like a visceral disgust of Jax. And I obviously I don't think very much of Tom Schwartz either, to be honest with you. And Tom Schwartz and Jason in the same scene, bleh, it was like a bunch of like tofu throwing up on each other. Oh, it was gross. But also during the after show, if you watch it, Tom Schwartz was a Jax. He's like, yeah, he's like, I didn't think you were capable of that when they were talking about Brittany and Jax fighting. And when he said, I didn't think you were capable of that, in my gut, that confirmed how I felt that, like, I think Jax either physically did something to Brittany, but they're not going to say it because they don't want him canceled. They want the checks to keep coming in. They don't want to bring it up. Maybe they don't want Cruz in it. I don't know. But when he said, I didn't think you were capable of that, why would you say, I don't think you're capable of throwing a table or punching a wall when Jax has been violent and aggressive for the last 10 to 15 years he's been on television? He's fighting dudes at Stassi's birthday. He was trying to fight that dude. He's gotten into fights, he's gotten drunk, he's gone to jail, like, he's punched things, he's thrown things. Like, Jax has been always aggressive and very violent, verbally and physically with things. So when it was the way Schwartz said, I didn't think you were capable of that. To me, if I said to someone, I didn't think you were capable of that, I'm not talking about flipping a table and it accidentally hitting someone. I'm talking about you hitting someone. I didn't think you as a man was capable of hitting your wife. That to me was the full sentence. Like, finish the sentence, Schwartz. And if you see energetically, Schwartz to me, I think lost. So, like, not that I ever think he really respected Jax, but I think that there is an energetic different tone shift between, yeah, Jax is crazy versus Jax hit Brittany. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think that Jax was forced into rehab. Everyone agrees that he cannot see his son by himself because he got so mad and flipped a table and the table accidentally hit her. That's an accident. That has probably happened 100 times before where he's done something, something accidentally hit somebody. But all of these repercussions, she's like, divorce, restraining order, custody. That to me feels like, and again, he's like, she has all the cards, everybody's got on Brittany's side, and then it kind of make more sense why they all are so gathering around Brittany. I'm personally tired of the Brittany brigade. I'm looking at you, Zach. I'm also looking at you, Kristen. I'm looking at you, Jasmine. I'm looking at you. Like, I'm tired of the Britney Brigade. It's enough. I don't want to watch a show anymore where every single episode we're up Britney's ass. I mean, but oops. I don't want to watch a show like that anymore. I'm tired of the Britney Brigade. I'm over it. I'm over it. I have compassion for her if what my gut is saying is true. Again, I'm not saying it's true. I wasn't there. They're not claiming this. I'm just saying in my heart, I feel that's what happened. And that's kind of why everybody's up Britney's butt because of what happened to her. And that's why she holds all the cards and all of that. That's kind of how I feel on that one. But when it comes to Janet and Jason, I think they are the biggest snakes of them all. I think that they are the ones hiding the secrets, and that's why they keep pointing the fingers because they don't want their secrets to come to light. Look at them, don't look at me. And I also think this is a huge case of jealousy. I think the women are jealous of Nia. I think the men are jealous of Danny. Danny has his stuff together. He has his kids, he has his new house. He has a pageant queen, beautiful, kind, gorgeous, sexy wife. They are clearly in love. They have a healthy relationship. Danny is a working actor. He acts and he does voice acting. Voice acting is very lucrative. Very lucrative. If you can get into voice acting, you can make a lot of money. Very lucrative. He has his stuff together. They have a very beautiful family. They are genuine about their faith. They don't weaponize Christianity, but they are proud to be Christians. Like they're like me. I'm a proud Christian person, but I never weaponize my beliefs against anybody else or any of that crap. So I think that they are very jealous of them because they got a lot going on. They got a lot going on. And I love how Nia cleared the hell out of Janet without lifting a finger. She was like, I wanted to come and talk to you because, there's been a lot of talk about you. And I forgot what she said this down the third. And Janet's like, well, if your husband's going to, and she was like, he was horrible. She was like, horrible, horrible. And she was like, what did she say to her? She was like, you need to watch what you say to me and how you say it. I'm gonna address you directly the way I address things directly in my marriage. And she cleared the hell out of Janet. And then Janet got up, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Yeah, you got up, babe. Your demons were bothered, okay, by Nia's light. But she cleared you because that's how women who are in their healed, divine, feminine energy is so powerful through our stillness and our calmness that we can clock you and clear you without picking up a pinky. And she clocked and cleared the hell out of Janet. She said straight to her face, she goes, I feel like you're coming after us. I feel like you're trying to make all this stuff up. And I'm coming to you directly. What's good? Nia basically pulled up and said, what's good? That was the equivalent of what Nia did. She pulled up and said, what's good? And Janet, like the coward that she is, ran away because Janet knew she was called out. She knew she was being pathetic. She knew she was lying and bending the truth. She knew she was jealous as hell of Nia. Nia is a beautiful woman. And congrats on baby number 4. 4 under 4. God bless them. Nia clocked. I'm so happy that Danny and Nia didn't take the bait, that it did not cause them to fight each other. Because what they wanted was they wanted discourse between Nia and Danny within their marriage. They wanted to get Nia to attack her husband. And when she didn't, when she stood 10 toes down for her man, as she should in the situation, that's when they got all bothered because they thought that they were slick enough that they would come in and infiltrate their relationship. And should be a good cautionary tale to anybody out there. Be careful who you allow in your marriage or relationship. People who play in your face, act like they're your friends, want to give you all this feedback, all your husband, you're this, your man, you're this, when the whole time they're plotting your demise. And Nia and Danny clocked it. They're like, no, you're not going to mess up what we got going on here. I love my husband. I'm going to stick beside him. And what? Nia, no notes, flawless. You're amazing and great. What else can we talk about? Jesse and Michelle. Jesse and Michelle, I'm understanding why they're at the bottom of reunion seat. They could have been friends of. Like, honestly, I think next season we could get rid of Michelle altogether. We can keep Jesse as a friend of, but I want at least two new couples. Janet and Jason can go. They can just be fired straight the hell out. Jax and Brittany can go because I'm not believing anything with Jax and Brittany. How is Brittany still in the house? I thought they were having all this financial problem. I thought that the mortgage was 100K behind. I thought he had 100K in taxes. I thought that, he was getting a new lease on a house. She had all this money in an Airbnb that wasn't even being used. How is she still in the house? I guess that Valley money is really good for them to be able to stay in the house. I'm not believing anything with Jackson Brittany. I think a lot of what they do is made up. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors. I'm not buying it. Brittany's a big hypocrite. Jax is a weirdo. I am tired of seeing Jax and Brittany on my screen. Jax can go. Brittany can go. Janet can go. Jason can go. Jesse can be a friend of. Michelle can go. Quiet as it's kept, Jasmine and Zach can also go. I'm tired of both of them. I am so tired of watching Jasmine shuck and jive for these people who do not like her. Jasmine, none of these people like you, and none of them are your real friends. You can tell. Look at Brittany's face when Jasmine talks to her or tries to touch her. Look at Janet's face when Jasmine tries to touch her or talk to her. These are not your friends. They don't like you. I'll give you Zach. Zach might actually like you, but the rest, they don't like you. And you're so up their butt. It is insane. You had one redeeming moment when you had your whole Karen monologue against Janet, but then you went so back so quickly, flip-flopping, kissing her butt. You ruined the moment. If you're going to stand 10 toes down and come out swinging and stay swinging, sweetheart. But Jasmine, you're not it for me. You're not it. I want to see more women who understand who is for me and who is not for me. Have some discernment. And if you don't have some discernment, have some self-respect and decency. Because these women do not act like they even like you. It's very bizarre and weird. Zach, I like Zach, but the problem with Zach is he's too far up Brittany's butt. That's what I'm saying. This whole Brittany brigade. Let's turn Jax's bar into Brits. Let's go to the house and pack up all Jax's stuff. Oh, Brittany's amazing. No, she's not. I'm so confused. Like, what am I? What's going on? And I'll tell you this. I don't like Jax, but ain't no way in hell would I be okay with having people come into my home, go through my things, and touch them, put them in trash bags, throw it away, pack it up. Hell no. I thought that was so dirty and so disrespectful. And I don't like Jax, but out of principle, how dare you go into somebody's home and go through their things? I don't care where he's at. I don't care if he's at the hospital. I don't care if he's at the bar. I don't care if he's at rehab. I don't care if he's at the gym. You don't do that to somebody. I had two people that I really, really loved, do me dirty in a very similar situation. I don't speak to them anymore. Because how disrespectful and belittling and demeaning is it to go into somebody else's space and touch and throw away and pack away and choose their things? So disrespectful. So high, like, no, absolutely ridiculous. Get out of here. Again, to me, Jax and Brittany, I think they're both grifters. I think they both are just playing everybody for a check. I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouth. This is kind of how I feel about them. Kristen and Luke, I love them both. I want them to come back for season 3, but I want to see more of them, not just in service of Brittany. I do like them being in service of Nia and Danny because that's fun. That's like a beat. Like I love their dynamic. I love that friendship. I love Nia. I love Danny. I definitely want Nia to come back and I want Danny to come back. Kristen and Luke, but I want more of Kristen and Luke. I know they have their baby journey. Mazel, they just had their baby. Congrats to them. Sending lots of healthy love. So We know we had the engagement, we had the baby, and all those are big milestones and big things. But I feel like Kristen has just been in service of, in service of Brittany, planning everything for Brittany, making sure she's okay, in service of Nia, clocking Janet. But that part I absolutely love. Like, whenever Kristen goes after Janet all day long, I'm okay with that. But I want to see more of them. I want to see more of them hanging out and their dynamic and them doing things and what's really going on with them other than the like baby and engagement stuff, which are great milestones and they're great, events to have and things to work around. But I want to see more of Kristen and Luke. I want to see more. I just want to see more of them, if that makes sense. So I would love for them to come back, but with more and not just more in like a supporting role. So that's kind of where think that's kind of where I landed with the Valley. Kristen and Luke love them, want to see more. Janet and Jason are both the biggest snakes of them all, and they both can get fired and go all the way to hell. I don't care. Like, it's Jason, I was rooting for you, but Diva, you got to calm down. The way you came for Danny this episode, like, why are you mad? Why are you so mad? Jesse and Michelle. Oh, Jesse and Michelle. I don't need Michelle anymore on the show. I'm not sure why she's on the show. She talks so bizarrely. She's like, and the blah blah said, I am the mother of your child. Jesse said, no, I wanted Isabella to see her grandmother. Like, it's just so weird. But beside that, again, Michelle trying to paint Jesse as this horrible monster, not letting his daughter see her grandmother, who, of course, my heart goes out to that. It's so sad, who is sick. But Jesse was like, well, no, like, number one, like, I didn't know how sick Michelle's mother was. She didn't tell me. And two, our child is 5. She's already going through our separation. She's already has to move and have 2 different homes. And, she doesn't yet understand the concept of death and mortality and having your grandmother here, but she's dying. And then one day she's just going to not be here. Like, we need to sit her down and make sure that she is emotionally and mentally and spiritually prepared to witness the death of her grandmother you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, Jesse, like, that's right. So I think that's great insight from Jesse. And I think the reason why he has that insight is because I think he has his life coaches and his therapists and he's really working on himself. So he probably has that insight of, well, if I am this 40-something-year-old man and I'm still dealing with certain things, how is my 5-year-old child, how is my 5-year-old daughter going to deal with these really big, heavy things when she's already dealing with a lot of big, heavy things? And I think that was very insightful. And like he said, he's like, the rest is just logistics. Of course she can see him. But I believe Jesse. I think that Michelle never loved him. I think she settled for him. I think that she always wanted more money, but I don't think Aaron's house, to me, like, not to be a snob, but like, we're talking about Bravo, so I'll be a snob. Like, I'd rather live at Jesse's house than Aaron's house. Aaron's house seemed a little. Let me put it this way: Aaron's house was perfect for him. I don't think it's perfect for a new wife and a child and the dog named Kilo. I guess there's a lot of snowing going on, right? But yeah, I don't know. And I think that, and again, when Jesse called Michelle a hooker, I think he meant it. And I think he did have the receipts. But I think the reason why Jesse backtracked was because, one, I don't think he wanted Isabella to hear or to one day see that her mother allegedly was popping it open for some change. You know what I mean? Because again, like I said, her response to me told it all. Her response was, well, you've gotten paid too. And she was like, I have the cash apps and the Venmos from, when, the gay guy was sending you this. Why is a gay guy sending you all of this money? XYZ, blah, 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 blah. So her whole situation, her whole, stance on it was, you've gotten paid too. How dare you call me that? I don't know. I'm not judging anybody. You want to bust it open? Bust it open. Do you? As long as everybody is of age and everything is consensual, live your life, knock yourself out. But where I think is there smoke, there fire? Yes. Do I think Jesse probably had one too many of those very expensive glasses of wine? And he was, trigger happy or text happy. He was a thumb warrior on that group chat and he told it. I do. Do I think he has receipts and it's true? In my heart, I do think it's true. Do I care? No. Do I have proof? No. Not saying it's the truth. I'm saying I believe it. I think that Jesse is completely tuned out of this season. I think Jesse is only here to get dirt on Michelle for the divorce. So he can get as much money and he can bury her and he can get Isabella. I think he's only on this show right now to get dirt on her, to talk to Jenna, to talk to, that's why he befriended Kristen, all of that. Mary says, I am judging. We judge. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just feel like we don't need Michelle back. Aaron to me is very weird. I don't know what's going on with him. And I will say Jesse really disappointed me during the scene of Boys Night when Jax and Jason so very clearly had an agenda and a plan to attack Danny. Oh, well, I don't think you can regulate your drinking just because you don't drink every day doesn't make you an alcoholic. I think you have a problem, and that's coming from me. Jax, that's narcissism 101. You say something true about yourself in order to make the lie you're saying about somebody else seem truer. Just because you're being honest about who you are does not mean you're being honest about who I am. And that's what he did. He's like, well, I think you have a problem. And coming from me, who has the biggest problem, well, just because you're being honest about your situation doesn't mean you're speaking the truth about mine. And I thought that Jesse was so weak. I thought that Jesse was such a follower. And I think that it really disappointed me that Jesse said nothing in Danny's defense and just sat there and let them do that to him. Regardless if Jesse agreed with them or not, I think Jesse should have said something. You don't sit there and let these two twats, Jason and Jason, systematically go after Danny and then try and call him your friend. If I'm Danny, just like he said in his confessional, he's like, I don't have a problem. I'm just figuring out who my friends are, and it's not these people around this table. I wouldn't rock with any of them again. Jax, no thank you. Jason, no thank you. And Jesse, no thank you. Because if you sit there in my presence and you allow these two people to attack my character and you say nothing and you do nothing and then you want to turn around and act like you're my friend, miss me with the BS. I lost so much respect for Jesse. He just kind of sat there. He didn't say anything. Buck up, Jess. All season he's been muted. It's time to tap in or ship out. So there's that. I think I got everybody. I think I got everything. Jasmine and Zach, they both could go, to be honest. I'm not feeling Jasmine. Maybe keep Zach on as like a quirky sidekick, whatever. Michelle can go. Jesse can stay as a friend of. Just do better. Janet and Jason can go. Nia and Danny can stay. Luke and Kristen can stay. Who else is there? I also want new couples. I want 2 to 3 new solid couples. Oh, Brittany can go too. So, and Jax. So I want 2 to 3 new, fresh couples. I don't want Sheena. I don't want Lala. I don't want Tom Schwartz. I don't want James Kennedy. I don't want Ariana's brother. I don't need these washed up. I don't need, not in the negative way, but just in like a no, thank you. I want new people. New people. Maybe some of Danny and Nia's friends could join. That would be really interesting. I want new people. If that makes sense. Okay. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Valley. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Da-da-da. It's a fun, free, and easy way to support me and the channel. So with that, let's take your candy cane questions and comments. All right, open chat, you guys. Yeah, I was gonna do Roa, but I don't have time. Hi, Linnell. What is up? Hey, Tay Tay. Hi, sweetheart. Tay Tay says Rome is heating up and the ladies are delivering. Yes, they are. Hey, Barbara. She says, hey, everyone. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Darren Hood. What is up, sweetheart? Barbara says Alexia was crying hysterically, except I didn't see one tear. Look, you know what? Let's go back to them. I'm not falling for the okie doke. I do not believe Alexia's and Todd's story for not nan minute. If it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. It doesn't make any sense. Tay says fake divorce from Alexia and Todd, 100%. I think they were trying to do something in the background with their finances, whether it's an illegal situation that they're trying to get out of, or I don't know. But I'm not believing they never broke up. It was all to save money and assets, in my opinion. Hi, reality connoisseur says hi, Candy. Ashley says I agree 100%. Hey, Ashley. Barbara says Alexia is never going to win an Academy Award. Exactly. She goes, it was an act. I agree. Tay says, Julia Leminova. Exactly. Julia Dark Witch. No, thank you, Julia. Alexia wants yes women. Exactly. She wants yes women and stupid women. And she knows Gertie and but she knows Gertie and Adriana are not stupid and they're not yes people. And I think that's why she didn't invite them to the dinner. At first, I thought it was out of solidarity with Julia, but I don't even think Alexia likes Julia. I think she tolerates Julia, but I don't think she likes her. Hold on. My lips are dry. In case anybody's wondering, it is, what is this? This is Spark. I think this is Bare Minerals. Yeah, this is Bare Minerals Spark Lip Oil. In case anybody wanted to know. Okay. Hi, Linnell. Hey, sweetheart. Tata says, is Lisa divorced from Lenny? I think she is. You know, she could be. That's another thing. It's always like hard to know. But all I know is that his engagement has broken up for the second time with the side chick girl. So who knows with that? But maybe. But I love that Lisa is doing her own thing. You know what I mean? She broke free. Hey, Teaching Trends. What's up, sweetheart? She says hello, Candy in chat. Hi. Larsa was dirty for that. Yup, people are allowed to be estranged from a family member, and she's allowed to feel upset about it. Two things can be true at the same time. 100%. 100%. Like, there are people, I'll be a little personal. There are people in my family that I have learned to love from afar. You know, it's not that I don't love them, but sometimes the healthiest thing to do for you and the person is to not be in each other's lives. Doesn't mean you love them any less. And so when Larsa said that to Lisa, I thought that was just so dirty because it's painful to be estranged from family. It's very painful. And I think to throw salt on that wound and to make Lisa feel bad about it, or to make Lisa feel like somehow guilty, I thought that was just very, very, very dirty. Very dirty. Tay says, DJ Vlad can't stand Larsa. None of us can stand Larsa. Absolutely not. Larsa is so disgusting to me because, again, she's the type of person, particularly she's the type of woman, female, that she doesn't feel good unless she feels that you are beneath her. So if you're shining a little bit too bright, Larsa's going to take you down a peg or two. She's going to try and snuff you out a little bit, you know? Teaching Trends is no lies detected, Tay. Hey, Adam. He says, hey, Candy. Hey, everyone. Hey, sweetheart. I will drop the link in case anybody wants to come up. Obviously, there is no pressure. So if you want to come, you come. If not, no problem at all. All right. So the link is now dropped. Okay. All right. Link is dropped. And let's go back. All right. All right. Doo-doo-doo. Hi, Teaching Trends. All right, now where was I? Okay, here we go. All right, so Adam says Gertie gave Julia too much time of day. I agree. I agree. Gertie was trying to be there for her. She showed up at the event and then she got played with no dinner and had to eat dinner by herself, you know? And then she tried to join the link only for Julia to be like, bye. Like, ridiculous. Teaching says that part, Adam, too much benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. Hey, Siobhan, Julia just wants to be a producer's pet like Alexia. It's someone behind the scenes that can't stand Gertie and wants the other castmates to ice Gertie out. Ooh, who behind the scenes? Share the tea, share the tea. Tay Tay says Julia is wild. And did you see the sneak peek for next week's episode? I haven't, but you know. Mary says Mother Candy. Oh, thank you. Mary says, it felt the producers prompt them to make this a bigger issue. He seems very supportive of her. Oh, yeah. No, that's the thing. Russell is very supportive of Gertie, 100%. But you could also be tired and you could also be afraid. Doesn't mean you're not supportive. You know, you could be loving and supportive of your wife. Doesn't mean you want her to have a seventh surgery after going through six reconstructive surgeries, after surviving cancer, after 20 rounds of radiation, after surviving chemo. You could support her and not want her to go under the knife again. So I get what you're saying, but I think that he does support her, but he's scared and he's tired, you know? Oh, I love those little cute things, Mary. Thank you. Mary says usually caretaker is like motherly. Exactly. Exactly. And it's caregiver. I had to learn that. So the caregiver is the person who gives care to a person, and a caretaker is someone who takes care of the premises. So like the caretaker of like the home would be someone who, mows the lawn and makes sure the plants are things and everything is up to code and everything. I use them interchangeably, so you'll hear me say both. But you're 100% motherly. Exactly, Mary. 100%. It's that motherly role. It's that role of the person who's giving you care, who's giving you love, and then looking after you, making sure you have your meds on time, making sure you're fed, making sure you're clean, like all of those things is what the caregiver does. I think a lot of times people forget to check in on the caregiver, and they put all the emphasis on the person who is sick, which is understandable. They're the ones who's sick. But the caregiver needs love too, and understanding and compassion and time and all of those things. So I agree with you. Yep, exactly. Mary says, I get what you're saying. Yep. Oh, those emojis are so cute. Thank you, Mary. Those are so cute. Mary says, very tree and Louie indeed. Yup. Julia finally earning her mojito. She's finally clocking in. Oh, Julia. Julia can go for me, honestly. I would take Martina over Julia. And am I the only one who, like, I think Martina's kind of hot. Like, am I the only one that thinks that? And I'm straight by all means, but no shit. Like, it's the Candy Cane gang. We don't care. Any sexuality, any identity, any race, religion, or creed, everybody is welcome here. So there's no shade to that. I just so happen to be straight. But I think Martina's hot. I don't know. Okay. Teaching Trend says he is being seen as more as the help versus her loving partner chasing after her partner. I think Gertie may be confusing his concern for him not being attracted to her. Think surgery will fix it. True. Good point. What I agree 100%. Mary says, damn, even Jasmine is so over this nonsense. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, now we're in the valley. Mary says, Jason definitely gives lawyer derogatory. Hello. I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that. Hello, love. I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that he does workers' comp law, but for like the bad guy. So, like, when somebody gets hurt at the job, his firm is the firm that tries to not get this person compensated for being hurt. That's what I heard. Hey, Adam.
Hi, can you hear me? You
Wait,
hear me?
oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, I was gonna say fine because but yeah, I'm liking the U system, this restream over the StreamYard.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, it's kind of smooth. Like the
Yeah.
ecosystem works.
Yeah, I like it. I like it here. I think the quality, and I also think the the streaming quality is better. I'm not so pixelated like I used to be.
Yeah, I think it's sharper. I think it's
Yeah,
just I think it's good. How are
it's
you?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's Friday. I was supposed to go live last night, but I was so tired. I had like a day and a week, and I was just like, I would rather just wait and come refreshed than try to push myself to do it just to say I did it, which I'm happy I
Yeah,
did. I'm happy I came
I mean,
tonight. I'm so
a
fresh.
hundred to that, 100. I
Yeah.
mean, if you did it like drowsy, then I mean, we wouldn't be having much fun.
Yeah, if I would have done it
Eh?
last night, it would have been rushed and not good. And yeah, I wouldn't have been on camera. It would have been a mess. But tonight, it's Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. But yeah, we're in a whole mess with these shows right now, as we are all the
Mhm.
time now with all shows. All shows are a mess. There's no like show with any straight color. It's all it's all a mess. But essentially, I only saw it like about an hour ago. That's why it's fresh in my mind. But I saw the preview for the next episode. Um,
Yeah,
I
of the
like it how
Barely?
no of Miami.
Okay,
Uh,
hold on.
and
Okay, go.
I like your description for Julia as the witch because that's putting it nice. There's a lot worse I could to think of, but essentially the witch Julia is just looking for a moment out of nowhere. She's kind of giving off pour each to reach vibes, and Gertie I'm actually liking Gertie more than beforehand. I never disliked her. I just wasn't a massive fan. But in the preview, I was really amazed. It was like, you're a chihuahua, enough. And then she just keeps on yapping. Then she just says, case in point, essentially. And it's just, um, but I don't know. Like, to me, it's very, very strange how this kind of situation is even a thing. Gertie was just trying to join the link, let alone what she's going through. And instead of what a friend would do, would say, actually, I will call you later or something, it was just hostility. I was just like, what is this? You know, and it's a shame because, you know, growing up in London, we hear about Martina non-stop, with Wimbledon tennis and what have you. So and I think you're right with what you said earlier about supposedly they were going through some terrible marital problem and that she was going to leave Julia, and then a miracle um happened when unfortunately Martina was going through the nightmare of the cancer. But I think, as you said, Martina should watch out and be careful because there is something just not right. Like it just isn't great. And I don't know. Like to me, with Miami, I it's strange because the cast is kind of what I used to think is, especially with the revive when Nicole came onto the scene, had like this cool collective group synergy to it. But everyone just kind of seems to be in their own shadow. Obviously, Alexia and Marisol are best friends, but it doesn't kind of give us a group. It kind of just gives us, let's just fill in different duos. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like people are paired off.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is the one thing I will say about that though, because I agree with you. But I think the one thing that this franchise has that the other ones are missing is that all of these women, except for Stephanie, but even Stephanie to like a way lesser degree, but only through Dr. Nicole, all of these women have a true history with each other. Adriana and Julia were really good friends. And that's how Julia came on. Like they were authentic friends. And then all of these women have known each other for years. And so I think that's what makes this show so good. And even though I do think some of them are lying about a lot of stuff, I still think they're being authentic.
Yes.
Even though they're not being transparent, they're still being authentic. Like these women are who they are. You know, they're not pretending. They might be fronting and faking and lying because there's a difference between authenticity and transparency. They're not all being transparent, but they're all being very authentic. And they all have a history together. Except for how did Gertie come on? Do you remember? Like who was Gertie connected to?
Alexia, which is bizarre.
Well,
But
that's very bizarre.
they said they I don't know the deep rootedness about it, but they knew each other quite well. They
Do you think that was a producer story? You know how sometimes like,
possibly
possibly,
because possibly. I
possibly.
mean, I don't think it's as bad as Lisa Rinna trying to say how she was introduced. How the the way that she introduced Sutton to the group, I thought was a bit wish-washy. But like, I don't know. Maybe they had known each other in the scene, but they weren't friends. But to me, it was very bizarre. But I agree with you with the authenticity part of it because that's why I think early seasons of Beverly Hills, season 1 to 6, were at its cool point, and then Dorit came, and then things changed. Enough said without that. um, but the Alexia whole thing with Todd, I mean, I don't know the whole situation, but even the clip I saw on Watch What Happens Live when Andy asks her, "What is your current situation with Todd?" Instead of just answering it bluntly, saying we're not together, it's as of today we're not together, and it's just like, okay then, like,
Oh,
and in
but wait on that though, because I'm happy you brought that up. Because on Watch What Happens Live, I watched the whole thing. I don't watch it anymore, but I wanted to watch it for this. This is what she flip flops. So first she said that her because John Mayer was like the bartender and he was asking her like, well, are you actually divorced or not? Because the question was, should Alexia divorce Todd? It was asked in a way that like they were still married, and she said no, I shouldn't, or something like that. But then John Mayer was like, well, did you divorce him? And she was like, yeah, we're divorced, but we're still seeing each other. So the first time she answered the question, she said that they were legally divorced, and she said legal. She said we're legally divorced, but we're still seeing together. We're still together. That's what she said the first time around, and then she finally let out that they got legally divorced in March of 2025. Then later on in this episode, then Andy is asking her questions, and he's like, "Well, are you guys together?" And she's like, "Well, no, not today." And then he says, "Well, when was the last time you guys were intimate?" And she was like, "Oh, that's so intimate, but like in the last couple of days."
I mean,
Like, isn't that crazy? That's why I was like, yeah, I'm right. Alexia and Todd never broke up. Their whole legal divorce is because, in my opinion, so they don't come after me, allegedly, in my opinion, I think that Todd was facing something financially awry, whether it is a loan shark, whether it is an investor, whether it is something, I think something going on with his finances weren't looking good. And he needed to make it look like he rented everything. He didn't have any money. He's cutting ties with Alexia. He's packing everything like a thief in the night out of the apartment, but he did it too because of Alexia, aka he did it because he probably couldn't pay the rent anymore. Because remember last season they had to downsize and she was pissed.
yes,
So it was like, again, he couldn't afford the rent at the rental property that they were at. They had to downsize. Maybe he couldn't pay the rent at the downsized place. And then that's why she lied at the dinner and was pretending, I live in your rented car and your rented apartment. You don't own anything. The words she said were very specific in a way that made me think this is so scripted. She's trying to make it look like he doesn't own anything or he doesn't have any assets in case he's being sued.
yes.
You see what I'm saying?
I
And the
mean,
fact
he kind of gives off. It kind of gives off Puritan
exactly, it's giving Dorit. Mhm. Go ahead.
mhm. I mean,
Yeah.
out of these cast members, even though I mean, everything's a mess, and I think the whole thing with what you've just given me, the whole rundown of the Watch What Happens Live, I think that kind of says it all. Because to flip flop like that, I mean, people can do ebbs and flows, but that's not what you do if you want to come across as authentic. And two, the reality of her is that she is a grifter, so she's not doing a good job as a grifter. I I think with all the cast, I think the brand new girl will be interesting. I'm just really upset that Nicole's not in the picture properly. Supposedly, according to Nicole, there'll be she'll be in about 4 or 5 episodes. But she was my favorite cast member when the series got revamped. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it'll be better than Atlanta. The finale with that is soon. I haven't even been watching Atlanta properly.
Oh gosh, Atlanta's a
Have
bore. Like, I'm ready for them to wrap it up already. And that's the sad part because the first 1 to 2 episodes of Atlanta I thought was fire. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a great season. I was not expecting this. I thought the girls were great, and then it just went, and now it's just crashed and burned. And now I'm like, I don't need Faye. I don't need fake Phaedra. Like this, it just got too messy. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. I don't trust Kelly. Kelly's the biggest snake of them all. I don't trust Kelly for 1 minute.
I
Britt,
mean, to
go ahead.
the whole litigious element with it now, with the
Mm-hmm.
fact that this has even got and there's been like something like 2 or 3 articles I've seen over the weekend saying because of this Brit woman that Bravo feel like it's just, to me, it's a mess, and they did not do their due diligence properly. And Kenya can be a lot of things, but the way that they got rid of Kenya over this person, I mean,
See, I disagree with
I,
you.
I'm sorry. With Atlanta, to me, there was when I just heard it, I was like, no Nini, no no Candy, no Kenya. I just thought like, okay, this is gonna be interesting, and but I don't think this is gonna ride. And if I've heard nothing but negativity about this whole season, and
I
I
I
just
agree with you, but where I will pause is that I don't think that the network said we're choosing Brit over Kenya. They had to let Kenya go for what Kenya did. And that's what there's been, that a lot of are like, oh my God, Kenya's vindicated, and what they chose Brit over Kenya. No, they weren't like, oh, we're choosing Brit. Kenya, what Kenya did was wrong. You cannot put poster boards up of two people, one who may or may not be underage, in sexual acts on international television and expect no type of consequence for that. So Bravo didn't choose Kenya. Kenya got herself fired. And I'm by no means,
yeah
I'm not defending Brit, because I think Brit had her own situation with the pew pew and her lies and this bogus lawsuit and all that nonsense. But the network did not choose Brit over Kenya. Kenya got fired
yeah
because of what Kenya herself
yeah
did. Like, could you
yeah.
imagine being the person in those photos? What about the man in those photos?
That,
You know what I mean? They
that's
didn't
true.
ask
Yeah.
to be put
Yeah.
out there, and you can't put
Yeah.
pornography, because that's what it is. What she put on those posters, somebody in an intimate sexual act on poster board for the entire world to see, and expect to keep your job. Even at Bravo, you can't do that.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
But I just meant in the sense of the fact they got Phaedra to come in magically, kind of out of the blue, and I don't know I just didn't have high expectations of of this whole thing. But with the Valley, moving on to the Valley, I don't know like what is wrong with Janet and Jason, where they went to school, their social cues. To me, and I know I keep on saying this every every week, but they make Katie Maloney look normal. Like they really make her look normal in terms of an obnoxious thermometer. Like they're at boiling point, and they just have this. I don't know what it is. It's just obnoxious 101 tutorials that they watch on YouTube because they just look for moments. It's like everyone in life meets crazy people and people who can cause problems and just chaos. But one of these people is meant to be a lawyer. And I'm sure there's plenty of difficult lawyers out there in the world to work for, what we've seen the Bravo world, especially. but, but my point being is just like these people are just bored.
I want to go to a couple of pinned comments I had. I want to fly through a couple of them. So Mary said,
Sure
I'm so
thing.
over Schwartz. He needs to get a real job. I agree with this 1,000%. I'm also tired of Schwartz and he does need to get a real job. I'm not a Schwartz fan. I think he's the biggest covert narcissist that there is out there. It's insane. Teaching trans there probably is a Mike like Jack's tape out there. 1,000%. That's why they keep making, oh, these cameras and this and this. I think the cameras caught something maybe got a little edited out, a little delete situation, but I'm not buying he flipped a table and it accidentally hit her leg and then that was the reason why all hell broke loose. Come on. Mary says, I only see Danny and Nia making one more season, and that's it since production wants to move Sheena and her paid husband to be part of the show. If Sheena and Brock become full time, I'm out. I'm out, especially if Nina and Danny leave. I know there was like that fake thing saying that they were leaving floating around, but I don't
How's that
know. I
called
don't
a
want Sheena
thing? How
or
is that
Brock.
a thing that
A
that
couple of
fake
people
thing?
a couple of people, like, there was one for Carl from Summer House 2 that came out. A couple of people got targeted, and there were, like, fake things saying that they were no longer coming back to their shows, and Carl came out and said, "That's not true, like, I never said that." Nia said, "We're not leaving." Like, who knows? I bet it was Janet. Mary says, "Do you think Jack's out war would make the producers to put him on pause?" I think I think that if they had the tape of it and the tape was made public and people knew, they would. And I think his pause was him going to rehab. That was his pause, but that was a crock. But you know what I mean? That was a load of whatever the case may be. So, so yeah. But I think that they would have done him like a Kenya if there was tape of what happened between him and Brittany, and that tape was then made public. But I think they're trying to cover their bases by sending him to rehab, if you know what I mean. All right. Go ahead, Adam. That was it.
With with um with the Valley, I think the problem with this show is that
Mm,
the way that it was kind of delivered to us before it even came into fruition was that this was going to be the Jax and Brittany and Kristen show, blah blah blah, and these were going to be the main people. But
mhm,
the reality is that people can feel bad for what Brittany's gone through, but to make her the person on the throne, the leader of the show, the start of the show, that's not a vibe. Miss me with that.
mhm,
And and I think Danny and Nia, to me, I would say are the most likable of all the cast members. I think I haven't been watching it in a while, so I'm a bit far behind. But I have seen the clips, not just by far behind. I mean, just haven't seen the whole episode as context. I just think that the people on the show, a lot of them shouldn't be on the show or on a show, full stop. and I I think the Jasmine girl is the one that's trying to get herself played the most because she keeps on going left, right, teaming up with this person. I have a problem with that person, and I just feel almost like she's just a
don't love
pet.
me. I'm just trying out different layouts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, because with the StreamYard, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't have that flexibility, did you?
No. That's why I didn't renew. There we go. I think I like this one better for us, right? Yeah.
Yes, I think that I like
That
it
one
on
looks the
the
best.
I
Me
like it
too.
on the left, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But
Yeah, that's why I didn't renew my StreamYard account when it came due. And I kept on it for like a little bit on like the free one just to like get by. But I was like, I gotta find something different because I didn't like the interface. It didn't feel good. And I was always so pixelated. Like I look back at my videos and I'm like, I can't even see me. But this I feel like you can see me. So and
yes,
like the
but
interface is so much sleeker. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's
It's
just got that
nice.
cool ecosystem. I mean,
Yeah.
no shade to all the Android people out there, but it's got like that iPhone eco sleek system to
Mhm.
it. Instead of that,
Yeah, I like it better. I like it a lot better.
like it's just chill like that. I see this comment. I don't know if Tato's trolling, but Sadoville on American Got Talent. Like, are you? What is
Yeah,
that?
he is. No, I heard he was, hey, Tay Tay.
Serious? Hi, Tato. Sorry, I
I
just did
love
not
Tay
expect
Tay.
to see that. I just did
Yeah,
not
I heard
expect.
he was, auditioning for it.
What?
Mhm.
We
Look,
yeah we don't get.
if Ariana can host everything, let's throw Sandoval a bone. I'm over hating Sandoval,
I
and I'm
never hated him. That
no,
I
I
just
know,
think
I
the
know, I know, I know you didn't, but I'm also over
I
Ariana.
just shocked that the guy would even go on America's Got Talent because like I
Mhm.
don't know low key if it's still the thing if it's still a big
Yes.
buzz and thing in the States, but the people who win Britain's Got Talent now like low key no longer become like properly famous like after 3 4 years of leave the show airing after they was on it. I don't know if
Mhm.
people who are on America's Got Talent are remembered after 3 or 4 years, but I don't know if that's it's not the case here anymore. But 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 with the Valley,
Mhm.
I I agree with most of the things you said casting wise.
Okay.
Um, the only problem is they seem to have this massive, massive thing for Brittany and Jax to be the staple piece of the show. So I kind of think if there is going to be, uh, is it confirmed for season three for certain? Is that right? Or-
It's not confirmed, but I bet there is one.
Uh,
I don't think it's like in limbo. I think it's pretty much
yes,
for season 3. But I
because the
would
only
be
thing
more
that
shocked if they didn't have one,
yes,
you know?
but I think for their kind of the way that they're steering, they just
Mhm.
seem like they still want Jax and Brittany to be seen as the favorite two cast members. Even though I don't vibe with that,
That
I
ship
don't know.
has sailed.
They just seem to have that as their main ammo in their brains.
Yeah.
But I think they will be inevitable to stay. The 101 obnoxious couple can go.
Mhm.
Michelle, I mean, enough said. I think you spelt it out, and I haven't seen the interiors or the homes of but I trust your word. I mean, she doesn't sound like the sharpest knife in the drawer. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
don't know.
think Jesse's house is, in my opinion, looked better than Aaron's house. His house seemed very cozy. Very cozy.
Um, but I think there should be brand new people. I think the what what's the other chap's name? Um, so yeah, Danny and Nia, Kristen, and what's his name, Luke, right? I think Jax and Brittany inevitable, and then they find people that are decent. I mean, if Sheena and Brock joins, I mean, I wouldn't care if they're friends off, but for full time, I don't want to see Brock. I mean, the way that that guy just casually came to the States and be like, goodbye, family, and just, just got, the way it was exposed on Vanderpump, how he doesn't speak to his kids. I mean, to me, just as a son of a single parent, that's something to me. I'm just like, right, okay. Um, and Lala, I don't know. I thought the whole, I don't know who in production whispered to her to go to do that read to Jesse, but I don't know. I think they need some fresh people. I think they all have, I'm sure, a decent group of friends. I think, as you said, Danny and Nia leading with their kind of group of friends will be more upbeat. As you said, people still, for some reason, seem to kind of underestimate it. But the voice acting is a lucrative gig. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty phenomenal how big it's got in the last 40 years. Like, just really big. But
Yeah,
in
voice
terms,
actors make more than regular actors unless you're like a star.
yeah,
You're gonna make more money with a voice acting gig than you're gonna get with like 3 lines on Law and Order. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna,
yes.
it's very lucrative. And also Danny's just like a good person. And he has a healthy relationship and he is hot. And I think they all are just so jealous of them. Like I think it just all boils down to jealousy. And I think maybe Jason has a crush on Danny. I don't know, because he's all up in his grill all the time. And Janet is jealous that Nia is beautiful.
I mean, you can
I
say the
mean,
latter
if you see
500
stuff that
times.
I put down, how you doing?
You can say the latter 500 times. Yeah, that was true. Um, I mean, to to me, I think what do you know what number episode the latest one was?
It, for
Do we
the
have a
Valley was
yeah, for
10.
the Valley 10?
Was
Okay.
10.
So, and this time they've actually got a reunion that was filmed, so
Yeah.
hopefully that's somewhat decent. I don't know what your gut instinct is, whether that's going to be good or not, but we'll have to see.
As long as Nia drags Janet, I'm happy. I just want to see Mother drag her one more time because Nia slayed her. Because like that's what I love. I love when you can just sit there and like literally just be the calmest person and like lay people out. She's like, no, I'm talking to you directly because because we're have direct conversation. Like she was just like, no, 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 and then Janet was like, and then got up and left. It's like, yeah, bothered your demons, didn't we? Bye. Ridiculous.
um,
Bye.
but in terms of like the other shows, like in ter- are you like excited for any of the other shows that are coming to
Nope.
Bravo?
Nope. Next Gen NYC. I predicted, didn't I say that I said I'm gonna stop watching it because I don't want to see the racism against Riley. Episode 3, what happens? Racism against Riley. I'm not watching. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not watching a 30-year-old Nepo baby trust fund guy failure to launch. And it, by the way, nothing wrong with being Nepo. Sure as hell nothing wrong with the trust fund. But I'm just saying he has every opportunity in the world, and yet he's still doing nothing with his life. Try to cut down and demean a 22-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sign up for that.
I
I don't
mean
want to do it.
to me, what kind of I mean, even him out of the equation, just Wiley and the other girl,
Georgia,
Georgia. I mean, the fact I think
she's
anyone would
racist
pull a
too.
dub. I think anyone would pull a WTF face if someone doesn't wash their hands. I mean,
Hello.
the fact that this maybe I don't know if that's a New Yorker thing that some
No, it's not.
people
No, it's nasty
I
person thing.
because I would when I went to New York, I'd never heard if I was given that was the
Yeah.
heads up as the thing, I would have been like, okay, I'm out. I'll just move somewhere else. But
No, everybody watches.
but to me, like I think kind of it kind of was just that attitude, kind of like why are you pulling a WTF face? I acting like this is normal, and it was just
Mhm.
like to me, she kind of was also trying to make it sound like only Riley was
Had an
the
issue.
person who had an issue or even
Mhm.
was thinking nor in a normal mind frame. It's just to me, I'm just it's disappointing, really. I kind of
Yeah.
think because I would have liked to kind of see what that would have turned out to be because it kind of seemed like it was going to be like a Made in Chelsea type show. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that
is
they
there any
did
other type of shows that are like Made in Chelsea in the States?
um,
That you
I mean, other than, like, what Made in Chelsea was based off of, which was, like, The Hills, but I don't think we've had a really good follow-up to The Hills. We had The City, but I don't think we had, like, a good follow-up to The Hills. I'm not sure. We had, like, Rich Kids of Beverly Hills with, like, Morgan Stewart and Dorothy Wang, but that was a different it was same vibe, different flavor. But I don't think we've had any really good follow-up to that. But what I was gonna say is I think that Next Gen NYC would have been really good with a different cast. Like, I don't think they should have brought on Gia. I don't think they should have brought on Ariana. I like Ariana, no shade to her, but no, I think they should have gotten young I think it should have been like a Gossip Girl. They should have gotten young New York socialite world, and we could see that glitz and glam of these young 20 something, early to mid 20s. I think that casting Charlie, I think he's too old for this cast. Um, that's just weird to me.
I
Anytime somebody is like 29 or 30 hanging out with like that's just weird to me. Anyway, I think that they should have gotten young, sexy, fun, trust fund, social lighty people. Sprinkle in your Dan Humphreys, the one who live in Brooklyn coming over for, that would have been fine. But I would have wanted to see that. I think they ruined the total vibe and image of the show with Gia and with Ariana. Riley can stay. I love her. She's fun. Georgia, I think, was a miscast because I don't think she's cool. I think she's a weirdo and not in a good way. I think they're really
agreed.
trying to make her cool with like she throws all these parties. Does she, or are they like the loser parties? And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean that in like a casting way of like looking through the lens of archetypes and structures and societal placements. I don't think that Georgia's really that cool. I'm not looking at Georgia and being like, oh, you are no. I wanted to see, models and fashion people and finance bros. How do you have a show and you don't have, the finance bros? New York, like, like,
Yes,
big
I
finance,
think I
you know?
agree. I mean, half the cast were actually supposedly quit when
Exactly,
Gia
Mary.
and Ariana
Yeah,
joined, and I think kind of to me with what Riley and Brooks, that made sense as they were
yeah,
actually living in New York and they already knew the people like Charlie and the other people like Ava uh on the whilst the other two just seemed like, yeah, let's just have some Bravo people to make them look cool or something and promote the show. I don't know, but with there was this girl called Ming Lee Simmons who father was good friends with Jay-Z, as was Ava's dad, and that would have been cool
yeah.
because of a
That
rival,
would
but that was put on pause for other reasons. I know that because of everything's kind of gone on in the
with
background, but
with
that
her father,
yes.
how he's
Yeah,
basically like
yeah,
in
yeah.
Bangladesh or Bali or where the hell he is because
Yes,
he's running all
but
these
I
from
think
abroad.
kind of like but I think as you said, kind of that finance bro, that kind of competitiveness in New York, kind of that vibe, kind of
Yeah.
just even with models would have been cool because like that's kind of what
Like,
I
I would wanna see a group of girls who are, like, the PR girls, the, event planner girls, the aspiring model girls, and not Ava Dash, I'm sorry, I don't think she's the get everybody thinks that she is, she's kinda boring to me. Um, I think that is quintessential New York. The finance bros, the trust fund kids, the PR girls, the socialites, like that's what New York is. It's the people who's doing, the Upper East Siders, all of that stuff. That's what I want to see. I want to see that would be cool. Uber wealth, that would be really cool. I think it would have been a cool if they did like a Gossip Girl type thing. I think years ago they do like Prep NYC was something they tried to do like a Gossip Girl type deal. But I think if they did that, but people in their 20s living that sort of New York life, because what I'm seeing now doesn't even give New York. It gives hot mess. And I like Brooks, but I don't need him crying every scene. I don't need him going to all the people to have a like, you know,
I
this isn't
I think
giving New York.
yeah. I mean, and also just kind of
Mary says,
eh,
but Ariana is poor, poor like us. I mean, and Riley exactly, and Riley is rich, rich. That's another thing. It's like I don't think Ariana was the right cast. I don't think Gio was the right cast. I think
I mean,
the
Gia
idea.
especially, yeah.
I think the idea is good, but the execution was wrong. And even the cast they had before, the cast that quit when Gia and Ariana, I even think that was the wrong cast. I think it was a better cast, but I still don't think it was the right one. I want to
Mm.
see really wealthy kids having fun, living it up in quintessential New York. Like when you think about like Sex in the City, that is New York City all day long. Ironically, I'm rewatching it and it's so good. However, Carrie was the problem. Now that I'm an adult watching Sex in the City, I'm like, Carrie's the problem. Carrie was the problem the whole time. Carrie is the ultimate pick me person. I can't believe I ever thought she was cool.
but
Carrie is like a
but
pick me all day long.
but
Anyway,
but in terms of like the whole Potomac thing with Monique coming back is I I I don't know. Like to me, is a bit of a weird thing that she's now just started to come. She claims they were after her to come back quite frequently after when she quit. Um, but I don't know. To me, it just seems a bit strange now.
I agree. I think
And
the timing's wrong.
uh,
I think the best time for Monique to have come back, she should have taken one season off, and then if she would have came back that next season, that would have been the jump off season. That would have been hot. Come in, guns blazing. Like I was gone for a minute. Now I'm back with the jump up. Like that would have been hot. Now, who cares? Coming back for what? A failing show? Like,
I,
why are you
I,
coming back now? Because your other show
it,
didn't work out. Now you're divorced, but now you're coming back. And like, Robin's gone, Karen's gone, Wendy is a witch, Ashley is a forehead, like, Giselle is miserable and doesn't even have her fire. Like, what are you coming back for?
it's questionable. It really is actually
Why now?
it's just a bit of an odd one. With I mean, other than
Mm,
other than Shannon, I don't care for Orange County really. Like personally,
yeah.
I don't. Uh, but yes, it's a strange one with Miami. Um, I think Julia will have the most regrets.
Mary says she also need that little check. She might, because
Yeah,
maybe Chris is like not paying her what she thought she was gonna get paid from him. She was so mean to him. Monique was so mean to Chris. Anyway, go on.
yeah. I mean, I never watched the
Love
love
and
well,
Marriage DC.
yes, because we didn't get it over here, but like I mean, I just heard that the show was not a vibe from the jump. That's what everyone was just saying.
Was good.
But in terms of like Miami, I think Julia will have the most regrets. I actually think it's quite hard to beat, but I think she'll have more regrets than Larsa. That's my
Oof.
prediction. That's
And
my prediction. Just personally,
mhm.
the way Larsa's a lot of things, but I think the way that Witch went after Gertie via text message, and
I
just said, "Oh,
agree.
it doesn't matter. The whole world is now going to know, or you find out through the press."
Mhm.
What does that say about that person's person?
Yeah, like, the difference between Julia and Larsa is Larsa, you can just tell, is so deeply insecure and so deeply jealous and broken, whereas Julia, there's something dark to her. There's a witch darkness to Julia, and, like, the witch she did to, yeah, there's, like, a darkness to her, like, she's trying to paint Gertie as it's just bizarre to me, like, they both are whack, but energetically, they're a little different, so I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I personally think what Julia's doing is, I think Lars is insecure by all means,
Mhm.
and a whole lot of other things. But I think the whole thing over this whole Zoom is just whack on a whole nother level.
A
I think
whole nother level.
I think it is actually just beyond.
Yep.
Do you, do you think there's something that what's her name Adriana is doing wrong that has stopped the producers from liking her to be like a proper full-time housewife instead of just a friend of? Or do you think she doesn't have the abilities to be a full-time?
Adriana, I just think she's just stuck. She's just the same, like, there's really no story with Adriana. She's just kind of sloppy, renting a boyfriend. Like, that's just her note. What story does she have other than friend of, filler in and of? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's kinda why she doesn't get a mojito because she's sort of just she's one note. Hey,
Yes.
Tian, you wanna share, sweetheart?
Oh my gosh, hi, it's been a while.
Oh, it's been a minute. You've
Hi.
been gone for a minute. Now we back with the jump up. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna stop singing because I can't.
That is one of my favorite Little Kim songs in the whole entire world. Like I put it on, it's like on the gym mix, right? And
Yes!
I just feel like a baddie on the
Me
treadmill. Like,
too.
yeah.
Yes.
um uh what was I gonna say? Okay, so next gen NYC. I think the reason why they had those Real Housewives children in there is to kind of introduce this kind of new franchise and to try to get people to watch because there is like a quote unquote like natural tie-in, right? Like, oh, okay, let's see what they're up to. I think slowly but surely they're gonna be weeded out, if the show lasts. Um, I don't know if you remember this, but Bravo had like a TV show that was like based off of Gossip Girl back in the day. It was called like NYC Prep. I don't know if you remember that. Like, and they did a really good job in kind of really taking the characters from Gossip Girl and like mirroring them in that show. And it kind of like, I get it didn't survive, but they were also like young kids, like in the middle of the day at a bar. And I'm like, this is highly illegal. But if they did the same thing, like, in a now in with adults, that were from, the Upper West Side that, even come from mommy and daddy's money, you know what I mean? Where you're just kind of looking them, watching them, like try to figure it out, and they do the fake, they're being cut off, and they're really not. I think that kind of would have been more successful as opposed to like these randos that we don't know. And then like they're all being evicted or have $0 or, like it's just so bizarre, like why Bravo chooses like these like people that are faking the funk 100% of the time. And I know they do their due diligence, to figure out like what's in their bank account and stuff. It's just kind of bizarre to me that they continue to choose just people like, that are kind of going through a lot of struggle. And maybe it's because they're so desperate, that they need it. I'm talking the cast members are desperate for money, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just like a weird kind of show in it and of itself. And like I really did not have like an affinity for Brooks Marks. I was just like, homeboy, I need to watch you on like 2.5 times speed because you just take too long to get a thought out of that beautiful face. And I now kind of enjoy him.
No, totally. And I did see NYC Prep, and I know what you're talking about. And it was bizarre because they were like 14 or something. It was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. I like Brooks, but I need him to like come more into his own. But I guess if the show continues, that's what we'll see. Him mature more, but it's a little tough when it's like every scene he's kind of cowering and not really stepping into his own. So maybe if he like blossoms and develops into like a stronger character of himself, that would be good. But I agree with your points, Tian, and I missed you, and I'm happy the gang's back.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yes.
I've been so busy, and I was like, oh my god, I'm finally catching a live. It's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then for Miami,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sound off.
Alexa, I think, is a hot mess right now. I think you're right. I think she is doing something to cover up for her ex-husband, or her quote unquote ex-husband. I think there's a lot of manipulation going on, and that's why she's so vocal about renting and money issues, right? Usually those things you kind of want to keep to yourself, especially when you're trying to, show that you live this exuberant lifestyle. And what's Adriana? I think ever since she slapped Joanna, I don't think she'll ever be a full-time housewife, ever.
Ooh.
That's my 2 cents.
Good. No, I forgot about that. Good point. Good
Yeah,
point.
I did too as well. I can't believe I actually did as
Yeah,
well.
good point. I forgot
Yeah,
about
and
that.
and I heard something earlier about, like, Kenya. I think Kenya has proven time and time again that she provokes, right? She went up to Nene and grabbed Nene by the ear and told Nene to listen, and Nene had to swat her hand away. And it was like at an all-white party, I think at like Cynthia Bailey's um quote unquote modeling agency. I don't know what it was, but she like too was violent. She like bucked at Kim Fields like with her chair, like, you know what I mean, and tried to like make her fall, like, and she does all of these things, and then people forget because quote unquote she didn't, like, I guess, fight them. But when you touch someone's face and tell them to listen and pull their ear, I'm sorry, that's too much, and now she finally shows, the corn at an event. And what people fail to realize is that even if it was Brit Edie or not, I cannot go into my place of business and just start pulling out pictures of, you know, undressed people and think it's okay and think I'm not going to get reprimanded and think it's like, because one, that is um sexual harassment, you know what I mean, in all of its forms. Like, you can't do that. Like, I can't go and show my phone of, like, whatever, if there's like someone, undressed or whatever. You just can't do it. And I don't understand, like, the kind of where people are like not understanding that, where it's just like, no, you can't do that. You can't just show up to any place. I can't go outside right now and even do it, and I'm not at work. You just can't do that.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't show corn anywhere. Like you can't, especially if it's underage corn, which was alleged. We don't know if it was or wasn't, but regardless, Kenya got Kenya fired. Brit did not get
Yeah.
Kenya fired. Kenya got Kenya fired. You can't you just can't do that. So I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. All points.
Oh,
Slade. No notes.
no notes, no crumbs left.
Edges snatched. Who wants to chime in? Or are we done? I mean, we've been on for over 2 hours and it's been so fun, but I know it's Friday,
Yeah.
so I want to be
Oh
respectful.
wow,
It's Friday night.
it didn't feel like 2 hours. Wow, that
I
went quick.
know. I know it flew
Wow.
by, and I've been having so much fun. Again, that's why I'm so happy I pushed it to tonight because I feel like I've had so much more energy and so much more engaged for tonight than I would have last night. I would have like been poo-pooed and like not good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you gave it when you felt 100. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that's how we're having a good time. We've got the
Exactly.
energy. We've got the energy. There's vibes. But yeah, it's good.
Thank you so much, Candy, and good to hear from you, Adam. I'm gonna drop off. I gotta
Yes.
get
Okay,
ready.
happy Friday, Tian. Thank you so much
Happy
for coming
Friday.
up.
Yeah, it's nice to
We love
see
to
you.
hear
Happy Friday.
it. Mwah.
Yeah,
We love to
I-
see you here.
I'll be
Yeah.
listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye. but yeah, I think this whole thing with the whole Danny and Nia were gonna leave the show or what. I mean, that is suspect. I mean, when I saw your short that you did the other day, where you were like, the what's kind of going on, call a spade a spade. You don't need to know a deck of cards by the minute to know what's going on. Like that
Mhm.
that 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 was just suspect. I think with the Valley, I'll see how it pans out and see how it goes. I don't have the highest of highest expectations, but I think it will be better than whatever Rora's given us. I mean, I just
That
get,
part.
I think I'm just doing that as a kind of a meme now. I think kind of like I'll just say it's better than what Rora's given us, and and the only thing like because I'm not like in the know-how of like the whole TV business,
Yeah.
etc. The only thing I noticed about Miami, which was quite shocking, was that Beverly Hills was at best B minus, if you want to even give it that compliment. Got, I think it's one stage 900K views or something along those lines.
Mhm.
And I saw things with Miami, and it at best got 300K. And I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know what that means, because everyone's watching things on Peacock now, and our way you've got the Hey You. I am looking forward to the Hey You Housewives of London. That should be somewhat decent, and that
Yeah.
should be on Peacock your way. But is
Mhm.
300K like problematic? Is that like when a network is like, this is not good? What does that mean?
I mean, I don't think it's great, but at the same time, I don't know how they're doing numbers anymore. Because isn't Miami still only on Peacock and not on Bravo? So it's like, how do you compare when it's
No, it's
not?
on Bravo.
It's on Bravo now?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I thought Miami was just Peacock only. Okay, maybe it's on Bravo too. Regardless, I think that one, the numbers may not be that great, but Andy Cohen was like singing the praises of the show on Watch What Happens Live. He's like, "This is the best season. It's amazing. It's only gonna get hotter." And I think people will get traction with it. But I do think that one, they didn't do a lot of marketing around it. Like when Miami aired, I didn't even know it was airing. I didn't see a lot of promo for it or ad spend or ad space for it. Number two, it's summer, which is like kind of always a hard time to launch. Like fall schedule is like that best slot, that fall TV schedule to really get the viewership. Also, I think that Bravo as a network is failing. It's fumbling. Summer House is a mess. Beverly Hills is a mess. Roa is a $200 million lawsuit mess. What else even is there? Like I can't even think of anything really else going on with Bravo. Like what's going on? So I think that Bravo, the network itself, is really struggling. I think it's losing a lot of viewers in general. It's getting a lot of lawsuits and backlash. I think that viewers are turning to different forms of content. I think there's other shows on right now, and I don't think they put a lot of promo behind Miami. So a product could be amazing, but if you're not promoting it, people aren't going to see it. So hopefully now people will get the memo and start watching it more. But I don't think it's in trouble in the sense of like it's going to be canceled or anything.
Okay, because I just wanted to know, because the numbers are quite a bit different, and I was just, but now everyone streams, like what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
even because as you said, even if it is on Bravo, um it people stream now, like people aren't going out their way to say that Blockbuster's the best
And
thing
I
on
didn't
earth
even
anymore.
and I cover the shows. I didn't even realize it was even back on Bravo because I know when it first came back, it was only on Peacock.
But like I was just curious what that meant,
Mhm.
and just thanks for the insight, because I just thought, everything. I don't know how they measure streams, like if that's revealed or what, but I think we'll be here for a good season. But I my prediction is that this will be at best a B. I won't think we'll get an A of the season, but we'll see the brand new girl. I think the brand new girl will give us a bit of inkling. I
As
like the thing
long
that
as the brand new girl isn't coming in too hot and performative, because
yes,
I'm kind of like what I'm seeing, but it's also giving show pony, like she's coming in and doing the absolute most, like I am Alexia. Like I don't know if that's gonna translate the way we think it's
yeah,
going to. I have a gut feeling this girl is gonna come in hot, like with something to prove, and I think it'll be very clear that she chose to prove it with Alexia because she knew going for her would give her the biggest bang.
yeah.
So
I mean,
I have to watch this Stephanie because I'm not sure she's coming in on the good foot. She might be coming in, you know what I mean, hot.
yes. But I think with Bravo Wise, he's spelt it out. I mean, we're not going to see Heavenly the MVP on our screens for like another 5 6 months,
Adam,
and
Adam, get off my screen right now. How dare you? How dare you?
So, I could
Log
not
off.
resist. I could not resist. But yeah, I could not resist. I think you deep down knew that was going to come somehow.
Oh my god, no! I don't think about that devil
Yeah. Anyway, um,
hellishly.
but yes, happy Friday.
Happy Friday!
But yeah, it's now getting late my end.
Yeah, get some sleep.
But I'm glad you saved it for Friday and didn't skip it.
You know what? I'm happy I saved it for I was either gonna do it. I was either gonna do it last night, tired, or I was gonna do it today. I wasn't gonna skip, but I knew because I really wanted to I want to go
Yeah,
live at least once a week. I really wanted to, but I am happy that I listened to my body and saved it for today because I came in refreshed and just feeling a lot lighter and better and more understanding of what I wanted to say. Whereas last night, I probably would have been really sleepy and just would have phoned it in.
100.
Yeah.
But enjoy your weekend.
I will. You too,
I,
boo boo. Thank you for joining me. I love you so much.
for sure. And yeah, just just live life to the fullest and like yeah, keep the energy.
That's the plan,
W-
Stan.
All
And
right.
shout
Have a
out
good
to
night.
you too. I love you. Good night, Adam.
Much love, everyone. Love you, Candy. Bye.
You. Bye. And shout out to everybody in the chat box. Thank you so much, Adam, for coming up and always holding me down. Thank you, Tian. Thank you, Linnell. Thank you, Tay Tay. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Reality Connoisseur. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Teaching Trends. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Who else is in here? Thank you, Mary. Oh, thank you, Mary. You are awesome. If I miss anybody, I am so sorry. I apologize. Who is this? Oh, Tian, that's right. Thank you so much. All right, I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Happy Friday. Have a blessed, beautiful, and a very, very safe weekend. Take care of yourself and have fun. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's a fun and free way to support me and the channel. I'd really appreciate it. So with that, you guys, I love you. And until next time,